Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing this look for you. It is kind of my version of like a minimalist makeup. It's not necessarily minimal products. I'm still using like a full face of products. There are still, I'm also getting lip gloss on my teeth. There are a lot of products on my face, but it's just mainly the style is more of like a minimalist style, natural-ish. I've been doing a lot of crazy makeup lately, so I really wanted to do something for you guys that was a little more toned down. This could be like, you know, a back to school look. Like shit, I'd wear this to school. I mean, when I went to high school, I wore like mascara and a brow pencil, and that was only my senior year, and I looked a fucking mess. I will insert a receipt right here of how honest I'm being about the fact that I looked a damn mess in high school. But if I was in high school in 2019, this would probably be something I'd wear, but this isn't a back to school tutorial. Anyways, it could be if you want it to be, whatever you want. But I'm doing a minimal makeup. I just want to do something more soft and everyday for you guys who didn't like, you know, bright orange eye looks or my teal looks or like whatever. That's really fun. But doing a look like this is also really nice from time to time. So without further ado, let's just get right in the video and show you how I did this look. So I'm going to start out with my complexion, and I'm going to go in first with the MAC Strobe Cream in the gold color. And I did already have on a little moisturizer. This is just going to sort of bump up the moisture in my skin and to give a really pretty kind of golden glow. Next, I'm going to go in with foundation, and just like in my previous videos, I'm going to go in with the new Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Radiance Foundation because I do want more of like a radiant kind of glowy look today. And just like in the last videos, I'm mixing shades F10 and F4 to get a better color for me. And I am going in with a lot less product than I usually would. So for this kind of look, I want to go in with really minimal foundation and basically try to kind of spread it out as far as it can possibly go. That's why kind of having moisturizer like on, you know, right before you put on the foundation is going to help kind of sheer it out and move it out. It's okay actually if it's a little darker also than your natural skin tone by maybe like a shade or two, because then it's just going to give you sort of like a nice tan sort of healthy sun-kissed look. So I'm going to use a giant foundation brush. This is an old MAC brush. It's the MAC 189, one of my like favorite foundation brushes. And I like this because it's a paddle brush, so it's going to give more of a sheer look. You don't want to go in with like a buffing brush or even like a sponge necessarily, because it can give you a little too much coverage than what this type of look is going for. So I'm taking a little bit of that foundation. I'm going to get it applied kind of everywhere, and then I'm really going to buff it in with this brush. I'm going to buff it over my ears, down my neck, just to make sure we're fully matching. And so basically, as you can see, this is giving me some color, also pulling it up on my forehead, but I'm really not getting a ton of coverage. I don't really like light coverage foundations, even when I'm doing this kind of minimal makeup look. I still like to go in with a full coverage foundation, and I just use less because I feel like full coverage foundations, at least for my skin type, tend to last longer on my skin than like sheer foundations do. I don't know what it is. And then, like I said, by mixing it or applying it right after you do the moisturizer, it does give more of a sheared out look. Let me just pull that out. So you can still see my like imperfections. You can still see little kind of acne that I have going on right now. Now you could go in with more of this foundation over all the little spots to also conceal them, but that's kind of your personal preference. I don't mind if some of my spots are showing through. It doesn't really matter to me. So this is fine to me. Even though you can still see like here, you can still see these and these on my chin. I'm just going to keep going and ignore that because I want this to look more minimal and natural. So if I have some blemishes, well, then it looks more natural. So then I'm gonna go in with some concealer, and today I'm using something new. This is the Juvia's Place concealer. I'm using shade 20, and this is a very full coverage concealer, but I'm just going to use just a touch. So generally I would like go all in that area and put a lot, but I'm just going to put it right there in the inner corner where I get darkness. And then I'm gonna ever so subtly do just like a tiny little bit down the center of my face to brighten, but not really to conceal. And then to blend this in, I am gonna use a sponge. This is a Real Technique sponge. It's one I saw at Target. It's got like the microfiber, kind of like I would imagine, I think the Junco or something like that sponges that I always see on Instagram. Never bought one of those, but this I think is probably pretty similar, and it's really squishy. So I'm just gonna use this to blend this in. And I'm really focusing on just concealing the actual darkness under my eyes. And then I'm going to just sort of let this concealer fade out. But I'm not like focusing on like highlighting like this whole area like I usually would. Now this is my first time using this concealer. And it literally looks amazing. Wow. I'm super impressed with that. That looks so beautiful. And it is like insane full coverage, but the texture feels really lightweight. So I was inspired to do a makeup look like this because obviously I've been following certain people for a long time. Like for example, Kathleen Lights. I've been following her for years and I watch all her videos. I'm definitely a very like full coverage ass bitch. And whenever I watch, like, especially Kathleen, when she puts on her makeup, she puts so little. And she doesn't do the whole, like, Insta glam style. And it just looks so nice. Like, her skin just looks so nice. Her makeup looks nice. And I'm just like, I wanna look like her. So I'm very inspired by those people who go more minimal to sort of, like, tone down in this video and do sort of that minimal style makeup. Okay, so now that's all blended in, as you can see, I still look brightened, but I don't look as like, I guess like a fake is what I would call it, as fake as I usually do. That's so terrible. Like that sounds bad, but I hope you know what I mean. Like it doesn't look as artificial as it usually would. So the powder I'm gonna be using is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder, and I'm using the shade Vanilla. I've heard a lot of good things about this, so we will see. This tub is absolutely giant. So I'm going to use the same sponge. I'm gonna use the flat side. And I'm just going to set my under eye. And that's it. I'm not gonna set anywhere else on my face, just lightly setting the under eye area because my concealer does crease and I get oily in my T-zone, especially next to my nose. So that's really the only place I'm worried about actually setting today. And then I'm just gonna take a little brush to kick off any excess powder. Okay, so that powder, wow, that powder's really smoothing, actually. It looks really pretty. So next I'm gonna finish off. I'm just gonna like do actually my whole face makeup first. I usually don't do this, but when I am doing a minimal kind of makeup look, I tend to do that. And it works really well, especially since we're going like very light eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go into my Tarte Park Ave Princess Contour Kit. And I'm gonna take the shade Princess Cut, which is more of like a neutral kind of contour bronzer shade. And then I'm just gonna use this brush. This is a Morphe E4, yeah. And just give myself like some subtle shape, but I'm also going a lot more minimal than I usually would with this. So I'm just taking a tiny bit of product right towards like the back of my kind of cheekbone area, and then very lightly pulling that forward. And then I'm just gonna take a little more of this kind of around the perimeter of my face, as I like to do. But again, I'm using a lot less product than I usually do. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know I had, Shane and I got a puppy, and she's just sleeping right behind me, and I think she's having a little puppy dream because she's going like, so if you hear her, that's her. I forgot that being a dog mom to a puppy is just to me just as intense as being a mom to a person. And we're having some rough nights these first couple nights because, you know, they go through that whole separation anxiety thing, which is super fun, but she's getting better. Okay, so I'm actually gonna go in with a lipstick. This is the MAC lipstick in the shade Vegas Volt. It's an amplified, so it's more of a creamy kind of formula. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get that on my brush and I'm gonna tap it into my hand, which is covered in swatches, just to get it evenly distributed on the brush so there's no like splotches of a lot of color. And then I'm gonna use this to apply as my blush. And again, I'm just dabbing so I don't disturb the foundation underneath. And I'm focusing this more on like the apple of my cheek and then very lightly pulling it back. And this particular lipstick is a amplified formula from MAC. So it's very like creamy and moisturizing, which is ideal if you're gonna use lipstick as blush because it's gonna blend in a lot easier than if you use like a matte lipstick. And I got a little too much over here, so I'm just gonna go back with the sponge and the end I used with the concealer and just sort of dab that out. And then I'm really wiping off the foundation brush on my hand, and I'm gonna put just like a tiny little bit on my nose, on my chin, and this is just bringing that color in a very cohesive way across the face so that it looks more like it's just your skin and it looks more natural. So finally, I'm gonna go in with some highlight on the skin, and when I do this kind of minimalist makeup look, I still like to look glowy and glowing for the gods because I love highlights. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna use the JUVIA'S Place highlighter. This is a loose highlighter in the shade the Heroine, and it's beautiful. So I'm gonna get some of that on my brush, and I'm gonna start with a little bit, and I'm gonna pop that on my cheekbones, and then pretty much everywhere I usually highlight, because again, even when I do these minimal looks, I like to look highlighted, so I'm gonna highlight kind of as I usually do. But then I'm also gonna pull a little of this on my actual cheek, because it gives you this really like kind of radiant look to have some highlighter like right here on your cheek. This color is beautiful. This is also the first time I'm using this product, and this color is amazing and it goes on like so nice. Okay, so the skin is really perfected, really glowy, very natural looking, exactly what I was going for. So now we're going to zoom in and start doing our eye makeup. Okay, so this is the eye look we are going for. Super simple and pretty, and I mean, it obviously looks like I have, you know, eye makeup on, but it looks way more natural than my usual looks. So I'm not putting anything extra on my lid in terms of primer. I'm just gonna blend out the creases in the concealer that, you know, we had some on the inner corner and I sort of blended it on the lid. That's really it. You don't need to go in with anything extra. So then for the first eyeshadow, I'm gonna put just like a neutral matte all over. And for that, I'm gonna go back into this Tarte contour palette, and I'm gonna use the same shade I used to contour, which was Princess Cut. And then just on this fluffy brush, say Morphe E28, I'm going to just take that brown and blend it all over my lid and into my crease. And then I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is called Enhance, which is one of the matte like highlighter colors. And I'm gonna just put that under my brow and then sort of blend that down towards the crease. And then I'm gonna take a little more of that and put it on my inner corner to give us some brightness. And that's just gonna give us some brightness here. And then I'm just gonna sort of buff that into kind of the upper brow area. Next, I'm gonna go in with the shimmery shade. So I'm gonna use this one right here. This is from ColourPop. It's called STARGIRL. This came out with a holiday set from ColourPop, I think like a year or so ago. So I don't think they have this all the time. But basically, you want to use just any like shimmery, champagne-y kind of neutral color. If you have like a deeper skin tone, you can use like a bronze kind of shade. Anything in that sort of bronzy, champagne-y family. And this one I really love because it's so shimmery. So I'm basically just putting that all over my lid and then dabbing it up into my crease a little bit. so that you can see the shimmer there. I'm next gonna go in with some liner. So this is one of the Morphe color pencils. This is the shade Bar, which is just like a dark brown, but it's more of like a neutral dark brown. I really also like Date Night from Morphe, but that one's more of like a, kind of like a raisiny reddish brown, like a brown with some eggplant undertone. And this one's just more of a neutral. And so I'm just gonna do a little line across my eye, and then I'm gonna do a little wing. And with your wing, you just kind of want the basic shape. Doesn't need to be perfect because we're just gonna blend it in. So now I'm gonna take a little pencil brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that a little bit to get rid of any harshness and just make this sort of look like a smoky, kind of smoked out, subtle liner. Mostly blending along the top edge of the liner, and then using the tip of the pencil brush to gently pull that out so it fades out really nicely. Literally that easy. I'm then gonna go back in with my shimmery shade, and I'm just going to reapply that right in the center because I want a nice like pop right in the center. And then once I was kind of finished with this look, I decided I wanted just like a little extra warmth. So I'm gonna go back in with the crease brush, and I'm just gonna take the shade Angle, which is just more of a warm tone compared to Princess Cut. And I'm just really gently going to blend some of that in the crease. And that's just giving a little extra warmth to the eye look. So then for under the eye, I'm gonna go back in with a pencil brush and the Princess Cut light brown, and I'm gonna run that all the way across the lower lash line. And then I'm also gonna go in the shade Crown, which is the darkest kind of bronzer shade in this palette. And I'm just gonna put that right on the outer corner. And that's just giving us like the most subtle bit of contrast. And then with my finger again, back into our shimmery color. And I'm gonna put that on the inner corner of the lower lash line. So even though this is a really minimal look, I still wanted to put on lashes because I love wearing lashes all the time. And these are more of a subtle type of lash. So I'm using the Salon Perfect DEMI Wispies, which are just like a really simple kind of lash. A lot of the brides, I do like these because they want something less crazy, more soft, and it just gives you like a nice little flick on the end, a little bit of volume, but it's nowhere near as crazy, I'm sure you guys know, as the usual very dramatic lashes I do. I'm definitely a person that likes like minky, huge, giant lashes. So I cannot wear lashes sometimes, or a lot of the time I can skip lashes. But I mean, if I'm gonna do a makeup look like this, I still want like something. So this is my very natural kind of something that I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna put these on, and I'm also gonna put on my L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. On the lower lash line, I did about 3 coats because my lower lashes are very thin. So I have to put a lot of mascara. So yeah, I did like 3 coats to make sure that they really stood out. So yeah, I'm gonna pop these on real quick, put on some mascara, and then we're gonna move on to the eyebrows. Okay, lashes are done, and now I'm gonna move on to the eyebrows. So I'm using something different today for my eyebrows. This is the Urban Decay Brow Blade. I wanted to try this out and kind of see if it's any better than the MAC one that I really like. And I do definitely like it better than the MAC one. So I used the shade Taupe Trap. And so what I'm gonna do first, actually, before I forget, I'm gonna take the Morphe Brow Gel. This is clear. And I'm going to brush my brows up, and then kind of down to the side here with the brow gel first, just to get all the hairs sort of flowing in the right direction. And then I like to take my finger and press on the brow and sort of press the hairs down. This just gets rid of excess product, and kind of helps the brows lay down like to the skin in the direction they're supposed to go. I just like it better. I feel like you can get more of like a furry, kind of hairy look with doing that, and that's kind of the look we're going for today. So I'm gonna start out with the pencil side, and I'm gonna use this to perfect the bottom of my brow as well as my arch area first. So basically I'm just putting this where I want more definition. Once I have that definition, I'm now going to go in with the marker side. And the reason I like this better than the MAC one is the marker is smaller, it's thinner, and it's firmer. So I feel like you get even like thinner hair strokes with this than with the MAC one. So I like this a lot. And so yeah, I'm just going to do some hair strokes in the front first. And then once I have that, I'm going to put a couple random hair strokes throughout the rest of the brow. Now for the final part, which is the lip, I'm gonna go in with something really simple and very soft. So I'm going to use the NYX lip pencil in the shade Pale Pink, and I'm just going to define like the outer edge of my lip and then really subtly kind of pull that color in. But this color is so light, it's just going to give me like the littlest bit of definition, which is what I want. I don't really want to go in with like a really full-on lip liner that's going to look very drawn. I want something a lot more subtle. So that's why I'm going in with this really light color. So as you can see, like this side compared to this side, it's so light still, like there's not a really harsh line to my lip, but you can see it's more like full looking and it's more perfected looking. So that's what you're going for. And then on top of that, I'm going to use the ColourPop So Juicy Gloss in the shade Roundabout, which is a nice natural pink color. And then I want to give a little bit more depth just to the center of my lips so it doesn't look too kind of like too much lip on, if that makes sense. It's like gonna make it look more natural if there's a little depth. So I'm gonna go very Raw Beauty Kristi right now. And I'm gonna put a darker lipstick right in the center of my lip to kind of blend this together so it doesn't look, like I said, too light. So this is the JACLYN Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Fussy. So as you can see, adding that lipstick just gave a little bit more definition kind of in the center of my lip and a little bit more depth so my lip doesn't look too light. Okay guys, so that is it for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this. I love how the look turned out. Again, it's like more of a minimalist style of makeup, not necessarily minimal products. Still, obviously, it's like a full face of makeup. It's just like way toned down and great if you want a really minimal look. If you still want to look like perfected and pretty, but not like too heavy looking or over the top. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.